Let's roll, baby. Welcome in. It is the New York Sports Rush here on this Friday. John Jastremski alongside my main man, Sal Licata. So, Sal, it was a Thursday with no baseball in our lives. And we are now at the point where the countdown is very much on. Next week is going to be the last full week of July, which is incredibly hard to believe. It also means, buddy boy, that the football season is right around the corner. And I'm starting to get the itch. I'm sure because you've had to sit through 3.5 months or 4 months of watching the Mets. You, sir, are starting to get the itch, despite the fact that we don't want to rush our summer away.
Right.
So, like, on a scale of like 1 to 10, from an excitement level, not just from a New York sense, but just a football sense, where are we at on Friday, July the 24th?
I think there's always a level. I think you touched on a lot of points right there. There's always a level of excitement because we love football season. Like all that comes with it, the betting, the fantasy, the games nonstop all the time, the feel of the fall and then the holiday season. So I freaking love football season. It's like no other. And then you throw in the baseball postseason as well. It's the best time of the year for a sports fan, September. But I don't want to rush away my summer. Come on, big barbecue tomorrow. Like, I want to enjoy the summer. It's still July. Also, this year, I would say that maybe a little more excitement from a New York standpoint because I would expect the Giants, at bare minimum, we're going to watch a real head coach this football team. So that's far better than anything we've had in recent years with either the Jets or the Giants. So that's what I'm probably most excited for to watch.
Okay, I'm glad that you brought this up because, listen, I was all about the idea of hiring John Harbaugh. Like, he was the slam dunk, unquestioned choice for me for the Giants. It's the credibility, proven winner, Super Bowl champion. That said, I have a lot of Ravens fans in my life, Sal. Weirdly, a lot of Ravens fans in my life. All of the Raven fans that I know, they're like thrilled to have a new head coach. I think it's, and let me make something clear here. I think the divorce is going to end up being a good thing for both sides. Sometimes, the divorce ends up working out well for all parties. The Ravens may go and have more success and say, hey, we needed a fresh change. We needed a new voice. And for the Giants, he's exactly what they needed. Instant credibility. The absolute you-know-what show of the last couple of years. All of these guys that have been these quote-unquote unproven head coaches, Harbaugh gives them credibility. But I think the question in year one is how are we kind of grading success? Because if you look at betting tickets, every public bettor, Sal, loves, not likes, loves the Giants over 7.5 wins. And I see that and it raises the eyebrows because it makes me say, oh boy, division's really tough. There's still a lot of questions on defense. How many games is Neighbors playing? How many games is Dart playing? What the hell does Scatterboo look like? I think the Giants will be more fun. I think they'll be more watchable. I think they'll be more buttoned up. But I think if you're looking at year one and it's like, oh, it's a playoff mandate for John Harbaugh, I think you're totally off base.
Yeah, I wouldn't think that. And by the way, even though I'm excited to see what Harbaugh can do, it doesn't mean that I think they're going to be successful this season. Like, there's a long way to go. We don't even know what Jackson Dart's going to be. Is he going to stay healthy? Scatterboo, same thing. Neighbors, is he 100% healthy? So while there is excitement and legitimate reason to be excited, I don't think it's a foregone conclusion that they're going to be an 8-9 win team or a postseason team. I'm just excited that I know the floor with Harbaugh. It should be far better than anything we've seen with the slop and inconsistency and horrible special teams. Like, John Harbaugh will not tolerate that. Also, he's taking control. He wouldn't have taken the job if he didn't have more control here. So knowing that he's going to have an input on who is going to be here gives me more confidence that they're going to be a solid football team. Now, maybe it doesn't result in 8 wins, but I guarantee you that their 17 games will be more competitive than what we've seen in the past. And I'm not just talking about, one-score game. I'm talking about competitive, like you actually feel like they have a chance to win these football games, even going into them, which is something we haven't seen with either New York football team in quite some time. But I wouldn't get ahead of ourselves and just think, Giants are going to go from where they were a year ago, new head coach, and all of a sudden the playoffs. I think that would take a lot.
Yeah, and listen, some people are going to make that comparison to Vrabel and May and what the Patriots were able to do a year ago. I just think the big difference is, Sal, the AFC East last year. Yeah. All right, Josh Allen and Buffalo were there. Miami was falling apart. The Jets were 2 automatic wins. The rest of the schedule was an absolute joke. Giants do not have that luxury because the division, if you look now, the NFC East is starting to build back up. The Eagles have been a force for years. Dallas has an unbelievable offense. And Washington is this great unknown because, hey, 2 years ago, Jaden Daniels was the top 5 quarterback in the sport. Last year, he barely played, and Washington was one of the worst teams in the league. But the point being is the division is good. The conference is good. It's going to be a behemoth to go and get a whole lot of wins on this schedule. But it's about a foundation. I think you're so right about this. If Harbaugh can do what Coughlin did in his first year. Hey, Coughlin's first year, Sal, they didn't win a ton of games. In fact, they made a quarterback change. They went from Kurt Warner to Eli Manning. They had a terrible rut in November and December, but it was so obvious the foundation was being laid for the Giants back in the mid-2000s. The second year of Tom Coughlin, they won a division title. I think that's the sort of like progression you can realistically hope for. So I'm not going to rush to judgment here on Harbaugh. If this year is like a 7-10 special, but if the watchability is there and that buttoned up nature of the team is there, it's successful.
Well, how would you rank the NFC East right now? Because as high on Harbaugh as I am, it's hard to justify putting the Giants. Like, you can't put them over the Cowboys or Eagles.
No shot.
Okay.
It's unfair to do so. Listen,
can't.
Am I going to surprise you here? I think Dallas is winning the division.
I've heard this from a lot of people talking about the Cowboys. Now, what? Like, I don't love Schottenheimer. Okay, healthy Dak. The offense can be legit. I'm worried about the defense a little bit.
I think the defense will be better.
Okay.
And last year, listen, the offense was elite. I mean, Dak Prescott played like one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. And newsflash, he is one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. He's not Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes, but he's in that like top 7
What did they
category.
finish? Remind me. I forget what happened last year with the Cowboys.
They were like a 500 team. They scored a boatload of points. And they couldn't play defense.
Dak got hurt early on, or no? Was that 2 years
ago?
ago?
Dak played. That was 2 years ago. Dak played.
Okay.
Dak played. But their defense was a joke.
Why am I forgetting last year? Oh, so the defense. Oh, right. So they would score a ton of points, give up.
Remember, they had that great win against the Eagles.
Like week 3 or something? Or
no. I'm trying to think. It was like right middle of the year. It was like right around Thanksgiving. And then they beat Kansas City in the Thursday game on Thanksgiving. And everyone's like, oh, here we go. Cowboys.
Yeah, but
they lost to
finish.
Detroit.
Yeah,
correct. They lost to Detroit. And then their season, they didn't have tiebreakers, so it didn't set up well for them.
Maybe early season, I'm thinking of a game where they coughed it up against bad opponent and were giving up a ton of points, because I was a believer in the Cowboys last year. I forget the exact situation. Anyway, you can't rank the Giants over the Cowboys, even if you have the Eagles taking a step back, which, okay, they move on from A.J. Brown. I would argue they might be better. Not physically.
Not dealing with the nonsense. 100%.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it's over. That's it. No more Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown. You don't have to worry about that issue. So, and you know they're talented. What they do there, the GM Roseman is as good as anybody else. So they're loaded roster. Like, and then you could throw in the Commanders. Now, I don't love Dan Quinn. You know that as a head coach.
Your boy.
Right, but still, like, the Commanders are no slouch. And with Jaden Daniels, like, where are you ranking? As much as we want to get excited about Jackson Dart, he's clearly the 4th best quarterback in the division. It's not even close.
He's not, Sal. I mean, I don't know how you fight it. Like, listen, if you're going to knock Jaden Daniels, fine for last year, but you also have to acknowledge the guy won multiple road playoff games and had the best, arguably top 3 rookie quarterback season in the history of the NFL. Like, you could get that guy. Philadelphia has a quarterback that's won a Super Bowl and has been to 2. And Dak Prescott is a guy that's a perennial All-Pro, a perennial Pro Bowl quarterback. Right. That's why this year for Dart, listen, Dart's out and about. I think he's got the right persona to go and be a star. But you could tell he already wants to be a star. Like, that's obvious. Like, Dart wants to be out and about.
Yeah, he thinks he is. By the way, we could rank the quarterbacks, we could rank the teams. If you rank the head coaches, that's where the Giants have the significant advantage. And that's why
number one.
Yeah, well, that's why people are excited about it. And I believe in the NFL. I value the coach. Obviously, we know the coach-quarterback tandem, but I value the head coach more so than anything else. But it just might take him a year to get there. But he's clearly, to me, better than Dan Quinn. I know that some of those guys have had success. Sirianni, obviously. I think he's better than Sirianni, even with Sirianni.
He's better than Sirianni. Listen, if you watch the games, and I know Sirianni has won a Super Bowl more recently, right? Like, you got to give him credit for that. At the same time, when I mean that has been a ready-made-to-order roster in Philadelphia with Howie Roseman. Like, I look at the Eagles' success, it's way more about Roseman than it is Sirianni. That's my take.
Right, and then you look at Schottenheimer, I don't think Schottenheimer's a good head coach at all. I think that they got worse after Mike McCarthy. Now, we could see what the offense does. This is going to be the make or break year. Actually, really the other three teams outside the Giants, like the Commanders with Dan Quinn and Jaden Daniels, they need to have a big bounce back year based off of what happened last year. The expectation should be they should bounce back. If not, Quinn may be out. Cowboys, same thing. Like, this is going to be the year. Dak, okay, another year healthy. Offense was elite. Can Schottenheimer be the guy to get them over the hump and have the ultimate success that they want to have? If not, people are going to be questioning him and say the same thing. And with Sirianni, I mean, who the hell knows with him? They were questioning him, it seems every year. The guy's a doofus. He wins a Super Bowl. He's a doofus. He wins a Super Bowl. Like, he's all over the place with that loaded roster. But at some point, if the Eagles don't reach their full potential, maybe Sirianni is on the hot seat in an organization that thinks that they could just churn out different head coaches and still win because of their roster being so good. So all those other three, while those three teams are better, they still got to show it this year. And there are some question marks to a certain extent.
Okay, so the NFC East is going to be a ton of fun. The Giants, despite the fact that, hey, it's going to be a year of growing pains and figuring this out with Harbaugh, like, their watchability level, Sal, week in and week out, is going to be there. The other team, and I know that I feel like, Sal, we do this exercise every year with the Jets. I already sense that we're doing it again with the Jets. Oh, Jets going to be better this year. Like, I heard this last year. Am I right or am I wrong? Hey, Aaron Glenn's going to come in. They actually have some spunk with their head coach. They don't have to deal with the Rodgers fiasco. And then you're like 3 or 4 weeks into the year, and it's like, this team is a horror show. So Geno Smith has been in the news for all the wrong reasons. There's that. And I know the Jets brought in a bunch of veterans on defense, right? Like, Demario Davis is a leader. Minka Fitzpatrick is a leader. That's great. There are also guys that are clearly on the back nine of their careers. Like, Demario Davis is almost 40. That's a problem. Minka Fitzpatrick was average at best. That's probably even being kind last year playing for my football team. And Aaron Glenn is still the coach. That, to me, is my biggest problem with the Jets as we go into this year. Like, I like Darren Muji. I like his process. I like what he's been able to do. I expect that we will be sitting here about 7 weeks into the year, and I'll be like, Sal, Aaron Glenn can't coach. It's time for the Jets to hire a new head coach. That's my biggest problem.
Yeah, I hope that you're wrong, and then we at least see, like, is it too much to ask to see a competitive freaking football team from one Sunday to the next? With the Jets, it's every year. It's the same thing. You know that they're going to get their ass kicked going in. More often than not, it's going to be non-competitive, and they don't have a real chance to win. They don't have a real chance to move the football. And I don't think Geno Smith is going to help in that. So I like Muji and a lot of the moves that he's made. I hated bringing in Geno Smith to be the quarterback of this Jets team. And that's before all the off-field nonsense that's gone on here. So maybe the only difference, and I didn't think they were going to be good last year. Some people did. I mean, they're out of their mind.
I couldn't believe it. I booked, a couple of people wanted to bet with me. Sal, they literally wanted to bet with me the Jet total. And I said, save your bookie. Just send my money. Just give it to me. And listen, we got plenty wrong throughout the football season. So I don't want to be here on my high horse. Plenty wrong. Betting against the Jets over like the last 5 weeks of the year was some of the easiest money you could possibly make. Like, they could not make those lines high enough.
People were so hyped last year about Glenn and they're going to play a different brand of football and they're going to be competitive right out of the gate. And I can see them winning 7, 8 games. Get the hell out of here. That was never going to happen. And it was actually way even worse than I thought. Like, I didn't have many expectations for him. I didn't think it was going to be that bad. I mean, they can't create a turnover.
No, not one interception all year.
I mean, you got to be kidding me with that. Not to mention the offense was just abysmal. So Justin Fields, the first game, looks like an MVP. After that, he looks like the worst quarterback that we've ever seen. So all I'm asking for is, like, we talk about Harbaugh building the foundation. Last year was kind of like the prequel to year one, whereas we were expecting it to be year one with Aaron Glenn. That had to be like the pre-K year before now we get to first grade. So if last year's pre-K, Aaron Glenn and his Jets are now in first grade. Let's see if they could actually field a competitive team that maybe wins 5 or 6 games, but at least is competitive more often than not. I don't know what else you could expect. I mean, they stink. Geno Smith is it was awful last year. One of the worst quarterbacks in the league.
So here's what you got to hope for with Geno. Listen, I'm not a Geno fan. I don't expect much. He can at least complete the forward pass. I can't say the same about the last quarterback they had. And in theory, right, the Jets have invested a lot in the offensive line. There's that. They have playmakers that are intriguing. Like Garrett Wilson is a stud. They have two tight ends that to me are very interesting players. I like Jason Taylor's kid at LSU. I think he's got to be involved a ton. They took Sadiq with a first round pick. They took the Indiana receiver as a first round receiver. Like now it's like, okay, protect the quarterback. Even if Gino's going to throw 25 interceptions, can I at least watch games where I'm getting 20-yard passes down the field, where I actually can sustain drives, where I'm sitting there saying to myself, okay, Gino is what he is, Sal, but there's an infrastructure in place. So that way the next quarterback comes in, it's like, okay, he's not walking into a situation where it's like,
well,
that's you throwing the ball to? We got guys.
That's the hope. And you know what's going to happen. Like if I'm sure that we can maybe find these odds here on Bet Rivers, but if we had a bet, what week do you think Frank Reich takes over as the head coach?
Sal, let me say something. The week 1 game for the Jets, I'm not being dramatic in saying this. This is almost because of the schedule the Jets have out of the gate. If they lose to Saleh and the Titans right from Jump Street, and it's bad, and it's Bobby pumping his fist, and he's doing his little strut, high-fiving Dable with Cam Ward, that will set off such a negative feel for the Jets. That's when the firing could be early. So, like, schedule for the Jets. I mentioned that Titan game with Tennessee's favored by 2.5 points. Coin flip. Listen to this, bro.
In Tennessee, right?
In Tennessee. Yeah. Listen to this, though. Packers at Detroit at Bears.
I mean, like, they have no shot.
If they lose, dude, there's a very good chance if they lose the Titan game, they're starting 0-4. Now, they would get the Browns at home, so maybe they would say, hey, we're giving you the Browns game.
Right.
And if you can't beat the Browns on, what is it, October the 11th, you're out for New England. Because then it does ease up. Like after the Browns game, it's at New England, and then it's home my team, Dolphins, in case you didn't know, and then home for the Raiders. So like that's got to be your landing spot. But if they're 0-4 and it's bad 0-4, like yikes 0-4, out.
Who is it after New England? And New England is where? Is that game?
New England's at New England. That's a loss. The Jets are not beating Buffalo. New England.
And who's after New England?
Miami at home.
Okay. So, and what week is the New England game? That first one?
Let's see. I'm trying to see if there's a bye week. So Jets have a late bye. Week 6.
That's my early opinion on week 6 will be the last game Aaron Glenn coaches.
Interesting. Okay. If they lose the Brown game, he won't make it to that game. If they win the Titan, to be fair, if they win the Titan game, it gives you a little wiggle room here. It's like, hey.
But even if they win that game, they're still going to lose the next 3. You could argue that they could lose to the Browns. My thinking also was that if you're
How do they look is the question.
Well, too. I know. But also if you're going to make a transition, you do it after a tough game as opposed to before going to New England. Like you'd rather have Frank Reich take over. To me, the seeds have already been planted. They've already neutered Aaron Glenn. He's not making all the decisions that he wants to. They bring in Frank Reich. He's going to be in waiting right there. Like to me, the pieces are in place for where they're almost expecting, not hoping, but expecting Glenn to fail. Cards are stacked against him. And then he will because they're not any good. They have an automatic 3 losses in week 2, 3, and 4. They're not winning those. It would take a miracle to beat one of those teams. You'd have to have catastrophic injury to one of their, like, seriously, how are they beating, even without Caleb Williams or Jared Goff, like, even without the quarterbacks, they're not beating those teams. Even without Love, they're not beating the Packers. Unless the Jets are some different team that I'm not envisioning right now, they can't beat those 3 teams. That's 3 automatic L's right there. So I would say right now, week 6 will be the last game Aaron Glenn coaches.
All right, I'll ask you this before we do a little baseball and some YouTube questions. What would you put the percentages right now on Aaron Glenn getting a 3rd year with the Jets?
I mean,
forget about finishing this year. Forget about whatever may play out to be throughout the regular season. So I feel like I would put the percentages at like under 15%.
Yeah, I mean,
that might be too high.
I don't think it's happening.
Same.
I feel sadly that this is predetermined here. That last year was so bad that it's just a matter of time. You brought this up talking about the good start, and I didn't think about this until I heard you say that. It's similar to the Mets and Carlos Mendoza. They had to get off to a good start because of what happened last year and then the moves in the offseason. The Jets are in a, and like they changed all the coaches around them. Like the clear bullseye was on Mendy. It was the first thing. If they don't get off to a good start, he's going to be out. It was set up for that, and then it happened. Similar with the Jets. Changing coaching staff already, disastrous year one, moves that Muji wants to make. I don't think Aaron Glenn wanted Geno Smith to be the quarterback. It's set up to have Glenn fail. If they don't get off to a good start, winning at least a couple of their first 5 games, I think he's toast. So I don't think it's happening. I don't think they're good enough. So I would say 0. I would say less than 15%.
We're going to be doing a lot more football over the next few weeks. We're starting to get the itch. Just even having these conversations is making me exciting because Sal, then you get to the baseball this weekend where, listen, it's amazing. At the beginning of the year, like if we were going through like the schedule exercise like we are with the football, we would have looked at this weekend and we would have said, wow, what a great New York baseball weekend. Yankees and Philly, which is still a really good series. And I think the Yankees and the Phillies have a lot in common. They're kind of like the Spider-Man meme because they both have won a lot of regular season games. There are some ties, obviously, with Don Mattingly being the manager and before that, Rob Thompson. But the common denominator is a lot of greatness and not a whole lot of success as far as postseason wins and winning a championship. So they both kind of see like that hourglass ticking, not only for this year, but for this run and this group and this core as a whole. But then like the Dodgers and the Mets. So like this would have been a Friday night. You would have been doing BNNY. You might have been telling him, hey, I want to do BNNY hit from the field because I'm going to go to the game. I'm excited to go. Now you're like, Mets, Dodgers. Put me out of my misery.
I'm actually going to the game Sunday only because I got invited. Somebody offered me free tickets. I was like,
Very
you know
nice.
what? Yeah, I'll take my wife and daughter. We'll go to the game. It is the Dodgers, whatever. At least I get to see them, although it's a bad pitching matchup. Dude, Saturday's pitching matchup, McClain and Yamamoto.
That's juicy.
That's fantastic. Juicy. But yeah, the series obviously means nothing, and it's more about, you know what's going to happen. Dodger fans are going to take over Citi Field. Met fans are going to be there. They want to see the star and Ohtani and all the stars that the Dodgers have. But the Yankees have an important series. I'm annoyed. Like, I was hoping to watch this game together with you and the people that are coming over tomorrow.
Night game, right?
Yeah, bro. Both night games. So I can't even wheel out the TV outside.
To be fair, as someone that's going to be chasing a 14-month-old around, as I will be a solo parent at the Licata festivities in 24 hours, it's probably a good thing for me. So that way I can say, all right, Grandma, you're on duty. That is going to focus, watch both baseball games. But you are right. Both games are at night. And I'm curious to see with this Yankee lineup, the Phillies are going to throw out some really good pitchers in this series. How they handle that. Because, it's great that Fried's back. I've defended Cole. Like, I feel like some of the discourse and some of the conversation with Cole because he's given up some home runs is ridiculous. I'm like, dude, I actually had Sal. I never do this. You know me at SNY. I don't think I've ever asked for a stat in my decade plus. But I went into sports and I said, guys, do we know how many starters this year have pitched into the 7th inning of games? Because Cole's now done it in 2 consecutive starts. And people always give out. I'm like, guys, nobody goes into the 7th inning. He's off Tommy John surgery. This is a big deal. This is a great step for him. And it's like 17% of starts, Sal, in 2026 going to the 7th inning. He's now done it back-to-back starts. So I love the Yankee pitching. That's all well and good. You got to be able to score runs, right? Like if you can't hit, you can't win.
What is the rotation this weekend? I know it's Cam tonight. I have not looked at those.
They moved, so it got wonky because they used Warren in the bullpen.
Right.
So that's why I was unsure if it was going to be Schlittler today or it was going to be Schlittler on Saturday. But it is
Cam
Schlittler,
Luzardo,
which is a good matchup. Luzardo was in the All-Star game. It's Weathers TBD on Sunday, Saturday. But then Sunday, you get Sanchez, who's great at home.
Okay.
Although the Yankee guys hit him pretty good in the All-Star game. But Sanchez at home at Citizens Bank Park has been like an automatic win.
I'm with you. It's exciting to see Fried and Cole in the same rotation together. Fried, Cole, Schlittler. That's the beginning of the recipe. If you are, in fact, going to win the first World Series since 2009, that's it right there. I would look to add Skubal to that if I could. Skubal, although, came out and said he doesn't want to be traded. Maybe that would make me a little less excited about potentially going out there and getting him. Yankees will make moves. It's just a matter of which moves they will make Judge coming back, Stanton coming back, assuming that they do, cross your fingers. That foundation, that baseline of Fried, Cole, Schlittler, I mean, that's as good a trio as there is in big league baseball. So with the other pieces that they add, with the other pieces that they get back, the floor is extremely high for the Yankees with that trio.
Sal, I gotta say, I'm looking at the odds right now at Bet Rivers. The Yankees at plus 117 with Schlittler. See, here's the key: is it Schlittler or is it Warren? Because that's a huge deal.
Tonight, you're saying?
I need to double check this because
I thought it was. I thought I looked it up before. Now ESPN could be wrong. I just looked it up before.
well, I looked it up on MLB. I saw Schlittler, and then when I looked up Friday, so I need to confirm this because otherwise, if it's
I'm seeing Warren on the score app here that I use. So you're right.
That makes sense because why would we be getting plus 117 with the Yankees and Schlittler? That makes no sense. So it's got to be a Warren start.
But I don't understand something. How would they have it wrong? Why do we just assumed and the Yankees?
I think everybody kind of guessed because he pitched out of the bullpen the other day. He couldn't start, but I guess it's like a throw day for him. So who the hell knows? And they feel fine about him pitching on Friday. Point being is Yankees facing some good pitchers. They're going to need to generate offense. And Sal, he drives me crazy. I'm not his biggest fan. I don't want him on a team next year. They really need Jazz Chisholm to hit.
Oh,
like that is, I'm just telling you. Like
I know, but they should move him. I would go look to get a rise.
I want a rise too, but I want to add to it. They don't have a DH right now. You can't. When is Stan coming back? Yeah, they can't look at Stan and say, "Oh, he's definitely coming back." He might come back in 6 weeks.
I know, but that's how they're built with Stanton, and they're closer to having him back than maybe initially thought. How about this? You add a rise, you add a catcher.
I love Arise, so that's okay, fine.
Right. So if you add Arise now, so you're saying keep Jazz and have him.
I want Arise playing a bunch of different. I want Arise bouncing around. I could DH him. I could play him at first. I could play him at second. I'll find a way creatively.
Just have his bat in the lineup.
Correct, and he's a rental for 2 months.
Oh, fine. Give me though their healthy lineup with everybody healthy with Arise and Jazz in there.
Hey, listen, somebody is going to be sitting on the bench.
Right, but what is it? So, okay, and by the way, I won't.
Are we talking Stanton? Are we including Stanton in this equation?
Yeah.
Well, it could be a Rise off the bench. It could be Jazz off the bench. I don't care about feelings at that point.
Yeah.
Then I'm playing a hot hand.
As long as you tell me you get a Rise and you want to keep Jazz and you're going to work a Rise in DH, a little first, a little second, okay. Then when he can't play third, right?
No.
Okay. Then when they get, because that would help obviously with McMahon. Then when they get fully healthy, your dream lineup in that scenario, let's say they upgrade a catcher, whoever it may be. Let's just say Jeffers.
Pick. Jeffers, fine.
Whatever.
Yeah.
So you have him at catcher, Jeffers at catcher, Rice at first. I'll go Arise at second, Lombard at short. You're going to live with McMahon at third?
I think you have to.
Okay, that's fair.
I think your platoon is, and I like what Rosario's brought to the Yankees.
Yeah.
He is such a butcher at third base.
Yeah.
It's a problem, especially with those lefties on him out. Like when they throw Fried and Rodon, that's like ground ball machine at third base. I can't have a guy who can't catch the ball at third base.
Even against the lefty pitcher, you'd still go McMahon?
No, I'd play Caballero at third base.
Okay,
if you're calling up Lombard in this world, then hey, here's my platoon. McMahon, Caballero, let's go.
I like that. So Judge and right, you'd go you're going to go Grisham in center,
Grisham in center, and Bellinger on left.
DH. Yeah, okay. I mean, I'm pretty good with that then.
And guess what? Against the tough righty, I could DH or Rise. I could use Stanton as a bench bat.
Right.
Like, who knows how Stanton looks when he comes back? He may look awful when he comes back.
And it's also insurance in case he doesn't. Now,
Sal, I like having a bench, too. That's the other thing here. We're talking about George Lombard. I don't know how he's going to hit.
Right.
Third base. All right, McMahon's been better. I don't mind being able to pinch hit and, mix it. That, to me, is something the Yankees need to take more advantage of. I like having a bench.
So, catcher plus Arise. I think that would be home run for the Yankees.
You know what I want? Catcher, Arise, Mason Miller. Let's go.
I mean, you might have to give up Lombard to do that, though.
Maybe not. We'll see.
Would you do it?
I would prefer not to.
Okay.
I mean,
you could get Luke. Would you rather have Luke Weaver at just whatever? Pick Luke Weaver or another reliever if you want, and Lombard or Mason Miller.
Yes. Luke Weaver and Lombard.
Okay, so you could do that.
Because then here's the problem. As much as I want Mason Miller, who's my shortstop next year?
Yeah, I know you need. That's why.
Volpe? No.
No,
That's the problem.
He'll be.
I don't think Sal. They will not trade Lombard. I'd be shocked if they do.
They're not going to do it. And this is one where I think I agree with them on. He's the one I would not trade. Although you could say the same thing years ago with Volpe. I would have traded Volpe for Castillo many years ago. Spencer Jones, I would have traded him from Corbin Burns a couple years ago. So it's not like, Dominguez, I potentially would have given up. I forget the exact trade that he came up in, but with Lombard, it just feels different to me, especially right now. But JJ, you either got to move him to get a big piece now or bring him up and utilize him and have him be an impact player here. That if he's as good as everybody's saying, bare minimum, he should be able to play Gold Glove defense at short down the stretch, which is something the Yankees don't have.
All right, Sal, let's do a couple of these YouTube questions or comments, however you want to phrase them. This one's from Brian Pendergast. Keep Holmes, damn it. Well, here's the problem. He's a free agent at the end of the year. That's your problem. So you can go and maximize that asset. We talked about this the other day. It'd be great if he wants to go and sign an extension. I don't think for Clay Holmes' perspective, it makes any sense at this particular point in time. And I don't think he'll get traded and come back. But in theory, Sal, you can do that. But if he's going to free agency and he tells the Mets, I'm not signing an extension, you have to trade him.
I've thought about this a lot in the recent week. We've talked about this. Initially, I was like, no way I would trade Clay Holmes. What are you kidding me? This is dating back to even before it became a main thing. I also was not aware that he could opt out. Here's how I would handle it now. If I'm the Mets, I would tell Clay Holmes, we want you back, and I know you want to be here. If you want to be here that badly, sign the opt-in right now. I'm sure that there's a way legally they could do that. If you are opting in, we're not going to trade you. If you don't want to commit to that, we totally understand, but then we're going to trade you, and we can revisit talks once we get to the offseason.
Sal, I could tell you, if you brought this to me and I were Clay Holmes, I'd say, guys, thank you. I'll see you in the offseason.
And then that's fine. And I think that's
what I'd say. Let's go.
Which is fair, but let's not make it like, oh, well, Clay Holmes wants to be. Well, if you want to be here that badly, then opt in, and we can revisit and extend. I'm not opposed to extending him. I'm opposed to extending him now. He hasn't pitched since mid-May. He was solid last year, and he was really good for 2 months. There's no guarantee that Clay Holmes is going to be. This is the same thing with Minaya, and I want to show Minaya back, but look what happened with that contract. So am I willing to commit right now if I'm the Mets with a lot of uncertainty? Who knows? You don't even know who the manager is. What's the coaching staff going to look like? We don't know what the collective bargaining agreement is. I'm not committing to Clay Holmes right now in an extension. I want him back. I'd let him know I want him back. And I'd say I'll commit to not trading you if you commit to opting in. If you don't want to do that, we totally understand. Then we're going to trade you, and let's revisit the talks in the offseason.
All right, Sal, this one is from Beat Canfield 1860. These two are delusional. Lindor is a diminished asset, a 33-year-old shortstop with an awful contract. Well, we could be delusional from time to time. We're not delusional on Lindor. Lindor could help somebody down the stretch of this year. And Lindor, Sal, is going to build, I'm telling you, he's going to have a monster final 2 months. I'm not saying it's going to be 2024 Lindor. He's already in his last 3 to 4 weeks got the OPS over 8. I'm not saying his numbers will be there at the end of the year. They won't be. By the end of this season, though, it will be way closer to the Francisco Lindor that you expect to see than the guy you've seen for the first 3 months of the year. That's my take.
This is not a talent issue with Francisco Lindor. For me, it's a mental thing, an uncomfortability in the transition from it being his team to Juan Soto being the guy, even though Soto's not, he doesn't looking for the captain, that type of stuff. Francisco Lindor can still play at a high level. Now he's getting older, and clearly there's going to be some decline in performance. Defensively, we've seen that a little bit, whether you want to talk about the range and the metrics there, but look at Lindor in comparison to the shortstops around Major League Baseball and tell me how many shortstops you'd rather have than Francisco Lindor. Forget the contract. And by the way, the contract I don't even think is that bad. It's not great, but it's not even that bad.
Contracts get worse and worse. Correct.
Yeah, like Xander Bogaerts is a bad contract. That's one you're not getting any performance. You're paying him 7 years, $25 million a year. So the Mets have, 5 more years with Lindor after that?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. Now, again, would you pay him 5 years, $30 million a year if you had to do it over? Maybe not, but he still can perform at a high level. At least I would expect that for the next few years. And when you compare him and his production or the expected production to other big league shortstops, I don't even think it's close. Look at the options out there. Look at what's his name, Kim? Look at the guy from the Padres. Was it the Padres, or am I getting that mixed up?
Who are you referencing?
Kim? Is Kim? I don't know.
Yes.
What he's making like 20-something million a year, if I'm not mistaken.
That is correct.
Look at Adames, what he's making. And I loved Willie Adames. And I loved
good thing the Mets didn't sign him. Although he's hitting in that national park in San Francisco, which doesn't help.
Okay, but like look at those contracts. At least Lindor, he's been unhealthy this year. That's the biggest reason for the drop in performance as far as I'm concerned. So I'm right there with you.
I've got one more, Sal.
Yeah.
From Stephen Carafa, 1834. I love this show because it's a balanced show. Sal is a Met fan, and John, I feel like I'm in trouble. I feel like I'm never referred to as John, is a Yankee fan. So you get both perspectives. Well, what can I say? Sal's a Met fan, I'm a Yankee fan. It's the life we've chosen, Sal.
But the other thing that I love about it is I could talk about the Yankees just as much as I can about the Mets, and you could do the same thing. Like
100%.
Yeah, you're a Yankee fan. I'm a Mets fan, but we're both unbiased when we talk about each of the teams that we grew up rooting for. You could rip the Yankees better than anybody. I'll rip the Mets better than anybody. Like, that's the thing. So, yes.
I don't want to wave pom-poms. No, correct.
That's not what this is about.
It's not fun. We'll do it for the Knicks. You know why, Sal? Because they earned it.
Yeah. And there'll be time to do it and have some fun, sure. But ultimately, like, I'd rather be taken seriously as opposed to be taken as a Met fan. I get the fans want to relate. We understand that. JJ's a Yankee fan. I'm a Met fan. Those are the facts. But I would like to think that both of us can talk about either team in similar ways.
Sal, ton of fun as always. I will see you in less than 24 hours. Just be prepared for your boy to have his head on a swivel. Chasing around. There's going to be so many little kids there, though. This is going to be great.
I know. I'll do my best to put you in a position to succeed. Unlike
listen, at the end of the day, it's about what is the coach quarterback? It's about there's only so much the variables like the weather and the stadium and the turf. It's about the performance on the field. So we'll do our best. For Sal Licata, John Jastremski, we'll be back Monday. Enjoy the weekend. Beautiful weather. Enjoy the baseball. Be good, everybody.